War. The broadcast begins in 10 seconds. WDBC Internet Television is on. I am an avatar for Michael P. Borgia. The broadcast, originating from deep behind enemy lines, is brought to you by dailyborg.com. Conservative politics for the thoughtful. Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated. The 113th Congress is open for business. And if one word could sum up the mood, it's this: war. The president has made it clear he's not done raising taxes. The House Republicans have made it clear that he is. And the Speaker of the House and Senate Majority Leader are exchanging not pleasantries, but obscenities. We'll chart the battlefronts when the broadcast continues in a moment.
Patty, let me be honest with you. Won't filing for Social Security benefits online be confusing?
George, it's simple and easy, and you can do it in your pajamas from the comfort of your own home.
Oh, my.
You've navigated through asteroid belts, right?
Oh, sure, plenty of times.
Well, compared to that, navigating socialsecurity.gov is a snap.
Really?
It's so easy. Even Kirk could do it.
Hands can do incredible things. Now they can even help save a life with hands-only CPR. If you see an adult suddenly collapse, just call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Learn more at handsonlycpr.org.
So it begins anew. The president doesn't like the speaker. The speaker hates the Senate Majority Leader. And the Senate Majority Leader in turn, it seems, can't get along with anyone, including some members of his own caucus. Kristen Jones now joins us to discuss matters.
Michael, thank you. Leadership, of course, always begins with the president. Unfortunately, as the curtain rises on a new Congress, just a day after the old one left, the president finds himself in deep trouble. In his first term, Republicans merely opposed his policies, even though many liked him personally. But after spending $1 billion slandering and smearing Mitt Romney, and after his absurd victory dances during the past week, the president is now deeply disliked and even despised by Republican members of Congress.
This in turn leaves the president with a big problem. The House will almost certainly remain under Republican control throughout the remainder of his term. He will not be able to accomplish anything without Republican votes there. And Republicans are in no mood to deal with him, least of all the Speaker. John Boehner has tried twice now in good faith to negotiate big deals with this president, only to have Obama fecklessly move the goalposts each time it appeared a deal was at hand.
The president did not make matters any better when he said on Tuesday night that he would not negotiate with Congress over the debt ceiling. He and his plumbers have also made it clear that they are not done raising taxes. Of course, raising taxes and the debt ceiling is much more difficult since it will require the affirmative assent of a Republican-controlled House to make it happen. The tax hikes that just took effect required no votes, since they were written into law more than a decade ago. That gave Obama an advantage Republicans could not overcome. He does not have it this time.
The Capitol buzzards are also all abuzz over an exchange that evidently took place between Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid and Speaker Boehner. Reid, in a speech, accused Boehner of running the House like a dictator. Reid replied that he was only reading what was in a speech that had been written for him. Reid's chief of staff, who was in the room, promptly threw his boss under the bus. Boehner's reply to Reid was to tell him to perform an anatomically impossible act.
Reid also has a problem with his backbench. Several young Democratic senators, led by Colorado's Mark Udall, are pushing for changes in the filibuster rule to make it harder for the minority party to stop bad legislation. Republicans considered such a move in 2005. Then Democrats called it the nuclear option. Today, Udall and others call it the constitutional option. That's the phrase Republicans used 8 years ago. Such a move would cause even more divisiveness in a Senate that has already become completely dysfunctional under Harry Reid.
Udall and others who are making these demands have one important flaw in their thinking. They have never served in a Senate minority. So they only know the frustration that the majority feels with the filibuster. They don't know what a powerful tool it can be in the hands of the minority to stop or force good changes to bad bills. Few Democratic senators who have served in the minority are in a hurry to change the filibuster rule.
We've heard plenty about what the Democratic agenda will be about in the coming weeks. The president, who is still acting as if he just won re-election with 70% of the vote, is expected to press for more tax hikes and is going to demand an unlimited increase in the debt ceiling. But what about the Republicans? Will Boehner and the House leadership go big this term, after limiting themselves to merely opposing Obama in the past Congress? They've discussed tax reform, but have given us few actual proposals. Will they even get a budget passed on time this year? And can they reunite after the divisive fight over the fiscal cliff?
Thanks, Kristen. The battle lines are now drawn in Washington. Barack Obama appears determined to try to force his failed ideology upon us, rather than work with House leaders. Closing thoughts when the broadcast continues in a moment.
What if I didn't come from a famous family? What if I didn't have all their support? What if I didn't have all these opportunities? Believe me, it wouldn't be pretty. Pause before you play.
When you drive for a living, you buckle up every time, whether you drive one of these or one of these. Truckers know what I'm talking about, because no matter how good a driver you are, trouble can still happen. That's when you want to keep your safety belt on to keep you steady, behind the wheel, in control, and looking out for everybody. Safety is a professional driver's responsibility. Remember, you're the one who drives for a living.
A message from the U.S. Department of Transportation.
To watch the president this week was almost embarrassing. You'd think he'd just won the Super Bowl, instead of just barely beating a bad team with a late field goal. He came up well short of what he demanded and in fact turned out to be the first player voted off the fiscal cliff island. Congress must now decide how much interaction to have with the president on forthcoming debates over the debt ceiling, a full-year omnibus bill and tax reform. Considering the way the president has behaved lately, if I were John Boehner, I'd make sure that Obama continued to be first player voted off the island. Things get done a lot faster that way. You have been assimilated.